Welcome to the second video of the APRV video series. In this video, we're going to talk and discuss more about the parameters of APRV, the P high, P low, T high, T low. Also, we're going to talk about how to use APRV as a conventional mode of ventilation or as an inverse ratio ventilation mode, and explain what happened at the alveolar level, how APRV is helping with the recruitment process at the alveolar level. We'll explain all of that. Remember to watch these videos in orders, and remember to subscribe to our channel and share it with your colleagues if you find it useful. So let's start after this short intro. Last video we talked about the APRV values, the P high, which is the CPAP value, the constant pressure that will be provided through this respiratory cycle, and then the T high, which is the CPAP time, how long this constant pressure will be provided before the valve open, aka we can say inspiratory time. And then P low, we said this is the pressure provided during the release time. And this is, again, I want to make sure you understand this is different. This is independent from the pressure that will be in the circuit at that time, secondary to the valve release. When the valve open, the CPAP value, the P high, will drop to a lower value because of the release, some of the pressure. This is different from P low. P low, the ventilator will provide any extra pressure to that during the release time. And again, whenever you will see that we will always use zero value with this for reasons I will explain later on. And T low is the release time, how long the valve will remain open, how long will we spend in the release phase, aka expiration time. So these are the value that you have to provide every time you're putting a patient on APRV mode, plus of course the FiO2, respiratory rate, and sometimes they will ask you for pressure support, because remember, patient will have spontaneous breaths, may not be supported by this. So they may ask you, do you need a pressure support? And this is similar to P low. We usually make it 0. So they will take two values out of your mind. You don't have to worry about them. What's really important, it's what you do with these values here that will decide how APRV would work. You can manipulate these values so APRV would work simply as a conventional mode of ventilation, as a pressure control mode of ventilation, and we do not want that. Let me show you that. Look at this ventilator screen. This is a patient on pressure control mode of ventilation, and look at the respiratory rate here, inspiratory pressure, inspiratory time, right? FiO2 and PEEP. If I decided to put my patient on APRV and I decided to say, okay, I'm gonna put him on P high of 28, P low of 10, T high of 1 second, and respiratory rate 22, FiO2 of 100%. If I put a patient with these APRV value and I'm saying, oh, I put him on APRV mode, is this any different from this? Not really. It's almost exactly the same. So if you're gonna do this, where you're gonna spend much of your respiratory cycle in expiration, not in inspiration, you better just use these modes, the conventional pressure control mode of ventilation. This is not how we want APRV to be used, because simply here, the IE ratio is not inversed. This is just a conventional mode of ventilation. So if you're going to do this, you better just go directly and use the conventional pressure control mode of ventilation, and you don't have to use APRV. Now, on the other hand, APRV, based on this value, I can use it as a mode of inverse ratio ventilation strategy. And that's what I really want you to use APRV for, the inverse ratio ventilation strategy. And mainly we use it with hypoxic patients. Patients needs recruitment of their alveoli. There is plenty of de-recruitment, and we want to re-recruit these alveoli. And what I mean by inverse ratio ventilation is simply inversing the IE ratio, which usually in conventional type, if I bring this here, you see that the ratio here is the expiration is bigger than inspiration. So simply we want to inverse this. We want to reverse, make inspiration is longer. Why we want the inspiration to be longer? It's very important. It's related to the physiology, what happened to the alveoli during the de-recruitment process. And to make it clear for you, let me show you some videos and explain exactly what happened at the alveolar level so you understand how APRV can help. First of all, we think alveoli, we think of them simply a balloons, and this is not true. Alveoli, as I'm going to show you here, are simply honeycomb structures. That means they share walls. Look how they have a stable honeycomb-like structure. And this is very important because if it was just a balloon, then probably we're dealing with an elastic structure. But because they share walls, as you see here, that means alveoli act as a what we call viscoelastic structure. What does this mean? Because simply we think that alveoli, we always give you the example initially, the beginning, we say, oh, it's like a balloon, you blow it, the balloon get bigger in size, and you deflate the balloon, it gets smaller in size. But at the alveolar level, this can be different. And to make it clear for you, because this viscoelastic structure, you may wonder, what does it mean? What does it mean that when you blow air into the alveoli, let's say you deliver the tidal volume into the alveoli, don't expect it to act like a balloon, that it will inflate and recruit quickly and immediately. And the same thing, when you deflate the alveoli, don't expect the alveolar size will shrink right away. No, there is a lag between the delivery of tidal volume and the recruitment of the alveoli. And to make it clear for you, let me show you a couple more videos to make it clear for you. This is the spring and dashpot example to really clarify the viscoelastic structure of the alveoli. Okay, so look at this here at the spring and dashpot example. I'm gonna play this movie now. Look, the spring goes up. The spring represents the tidal volume. See how quickly the spring goes up? Look at the dashpot here, slowly coming up. So again, I'm going to repeat. See, the spring represent the tidal volume and the dashpot represent the recruitment of the alveoli. And see the lag. See the spring quickly going up. See the dashpot slowly going up. So this is the tidal volume and this is the alveolar recruitment. See how it lags and slowly gets recruited after that. And this is the expiration. See the spring going up, the tidal volume. See the release of the spring now. This is the release phase. See the shrink is again slow. Again, see now the release. See the expiration now, the release phase. See quickly, but see the dashpot moving slowly. So the viscoelastic structure means there is a delay between when the tidal volume delivered and then the recruitment of the alveoli takes time, doesn't recruit right away. And for the same thing, when you deflate the lung, the alveoli takes time to shrink in size. And that's very important when you have somebody with ARDS. That means to recruit the alveoli, you need to spend more time into that inspiration phase here, because simply you want the alveoli to recruit. If you cut it short here, the alveoli will not be recruited. And that's why you want to give adequate time and spend most of your time in inspiration for that reason. And here, if you see, now it's released. If you cut it short here, the release time, you will not allow the alveoli to reach the bottom and de-recruit. I'm going to show you one more video, last video, to make things very clear, and then I'll explain to you why I'm showing all these videos. Okay, I'm going to play this video now. Look how long the alveolus take to recruit. It's probably take, if you're going to keep going with this video, take up to 30 seconds. Now it's recruiting slowly. So the tidal volume was delivered, but it's slowly recruiting, as you see, this whitish stuff. All of this tells you that when you have a lot of de-recruitment, like ARDS, a lot of pulmonary edema, then you have to give time for the tidal volume to get in and give time to the alveolus to recruit. If you give a short inspiratory time, you will not allow this. See, 40 seconds here. I'm not saying spend 40 seconds in the inspiration, but that tells you that you have to spend adequate time in inspiration. And the other way, when you release, when you goes into expiration, you want to also cut it short. That way the alveolus doesn't completely collapse. So simply, it tells you it makes sense that we inverse the IE ratio. And that's why I want you to use the APRV mode 4. And next video, I'm going to specifically talk about specific method of APRV. We use it in patients. We call it TCAV, where simply time control adaptive ventilation, developed by one of the pioneers of APRV called MednerdDrWaqasFazal. And simply that's what we do. We try to spend most of our time in inspiration time to allow this kind of recruitment. Next video, we'll talk about how to use that in details, when and how to use APRV.